Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. It's 26th of November, 2014, the pre-Thanksgiving holiday that is traveling. I'm not traveling, I'm here to talk to you people about the automotive plastic model hobby. Been watching a lot of YouTube videos of other people. Obviously I'm not watching my own videos. I tend to watch them once to make sure that there are no technical errors in the editing process, and then they go off, into their little world to entertain and inform everybody. And my cough, while it is not a cough anymore, is now just sort of a throat congestion issue. So it's one of these things where I don't think I'm ever going to speak properly ever again without having to gag on some sort of phlegm. Which I know is a really appealing way to start this video, but it's just the truth. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving, Friday, Black Friday. Don't go to the mall, because I have no interest in watching a bunch of people fist fight over like a 99-cent laptop. So I recommend you do your Black Friday shopping online. And the place you want to do that at, if you have any inkling whatsoever of being interested in foreign kits or, really good prices on pretty much anything military-wise, because most of those tend to be foreign, made in the sense of, where they're manufactured. I mean, all kits are manufactured overseas at this point, except, I guess, the Lindbergh stuff. But, your Dragon and all your other, military armor stuff is obviously all Chinese companies and stuff like that. So, anyway, we're babbling with this. Hobbylink Japan usually has a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. Usually starts sometime Saturday morning in Japan, which, we're 14 hours behind here on the East Coast, or ahead, depending on how you want to look at it, which way you're going in the country. But right now it's like 5 after 3, which makes it 5 after 5 a.m. tomorrow, Thanksgiving already, in Japan. So usually Saturday morning sale, makes it late Friday starting time here, and it usually runs till like Tuesday afternoon, which is Wednesday morning over there. Usually everything except printed materials, like books, magazines, that kind of reference material is not on sale. But everything else is. Automotive kits, all your IPMS stuff, so your armor, your wing things, your boats, usually your Gundam and figures and everything is on sale. And it's usually, usually get about another 25% off the list price, which is already like 20% off the manufactured suggested retail price. Some stuff's, deeper discounts if they, need to move it. Hobbylink Japan really doesn't have that many sales throughout the year. This is sort of their big one. Hobbylink Japan, for the people who are not initiated with it really well, does not sell very much in the Japanese market itself. It is primarily an export company, and primarily to the United States. The guy that owns it is an American who, fell in love with Japan and then fell in love with a Japanese lady, and, they're over there in Japan now, obviously. So we don't know what the exact dates and times will be. I'm going to throw a video up once we know what the exact times and dates will be, so that we can remind everybody to go cash in on the savings. If you've been looking for like one of those Hobby Design Trans kits, or maybe one of the black box Tamiya kits, like the new LaFerrari or the old Enzo or something like that, this is a prime time chance to be buying one of those things on the cheap. The yen is still in a cratering free fall against the dollar. I mean, it doesn't constantly move, but it hasn't come up. And right now we're still getting like that. That means you're getting like 20 for every $20 you spend over there. Of their value, it only costs you like 17. It's almost, it's I think 100. 118 yen to a dollar right now. So. I love for this cough to go away, but it's never gonna. So, the more money you spend, the better deal you get, because it's one of those, sort of compounding interest sort of things. You spend $100, what it is, every $118 you normally spend over there, you only spend $100. So, if you spent $118, which would, run you 5-6 model kits, depending on what genre you're buying within, you get a model kit for free, basically. And because everything is priced in yen, including the shipping, even the shipping is cheap right now. So, like I said, we'll throw a video up with that when time comes. We know the official dates. It's usually over the week. It's over the weekend. You just don't know what time it's going to start and stop. Otherwise, we're kind of light on information. Moving the video up to Wednesday. I'm thinking about maybe moving it to Friday. I don't want to constantly move it around so nobody knows when to watch. I appreciate that we have more subscribers. Hello to the 4 new people since last week. And I know there's more people watching this than actually subscribe to the channel, basically because some of the videos have more views than we have subscribers. So, if you're checking us out, subscribe. Every Thursday, you'll get a little notification on your little Google Plus or your YouTube app or whatever, letting you know that I'm here to once again babble at you about model kits. We're going to be expanding this channel. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. Not going to be like adding people or anything like that, but we're going to sort of expand what we're doing here because while I enjoy these videos, the original intention of this channel was to be like basic building skills, sort of like how to build a box stock model cleanly, because a lot of people don't know how to do that. They want to add $5,000 for the photo etch and, gazillion dollars for the paint, and what comes out the other end is a really shiny, sparkly turd. And a lot of people sort of skip the basics of building, trying to build like the people they envy. And, there's a lot of great builders out there. Some of them are here on YouTube. Some of them are on forums. But, you're going to sort of, crawl before you walk before you run kind of thing. And a lot of people, you see these people, not picking on any one person here. This is a constant thing. You see people like, I bought my first model kit, and then they build it, and it's, it's better than anything we ever did when we were 8, because these people are usually grown people. So they have some sense of not making a mess. But, then they're like, oh, I bought these 3 other model kits, and I'm buying an airbrush and a compressor and a paint booth. And it's like, whoa, dude, calm down, man. You don't need to be throwing that kind of money out yet. You don't even know if you want to be in this hobby. I hate to see these people who spend like $400, $500, $600 at a pop, Yeah, I know. I got this huge stack of stuff here. There's a giant stack of stuff over here, and there's even more stuff in front of me here. One of these days I'll have to get another camera 2, and we'll have to pan around and show you the workshop kind of thing. Because, it looks like I just have these 20 non-changing police car kits behind me, and that's all there is around here, but of course there's not. There's much more. But like I said, I want to do some more stuff. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. I had a couple people recommended to me who recommended a couple other people, and so I spent, probably the last 3 days with free time watching other people's videos. And, there's some stuff that I like to comment about, questions that they've asked the community, and just general videos, and topics that seem to be too hot to handle in certain circumstances for some reason. And I don't want those things to sort of cluster and interfere with our weekly videos about model kit releases. I don't want you to listen to me for 30 minutes talk about model kit releases and then like 25 more minutes of me rambling on about critical thinking and how to glue things properly and my take on the hobby and stuff like that. So those, if you don't want to watch those things, if you're not interested in those things, you won't have to, because they'll be their own little thing. There's going to be another channel for it, and that'll be like, the Stash Project, and the guy from the Stash Project goes crazy online. It won't be that. It'll just be, and it won't be a weekly thing, I don't think. Maybe it will be, Because one of the things I like to do with this channel, in addition, would be we did the quarterly release video like 3 videos ago, and that wound up being like 52 minutes long. And so I'm thinking maybe second quarter, depending on what kind of information we have about it, how big it's going to be, just, subject matter wise, of just live streaming that. Putting up a chat room and letting people ask questions and being interactive, because if you're going to sit there for an hour, we might as well have a conversation with each other instead of this just being a really long monologue. A couple people I'll talk to, like, you show yourself on camera and you're talking on that microphone, and I appreciate the information you're giving, but you're not doing anything. You're just sort of sitting there. I don't know what was juggle flaming batons next, I guess, but I understand that we have to see some stuff. I'm constantly talking about model kits. Do I actually build any? Well, the answer to that is not really, because I got no time. At any rate, guys, this week there's only been one reissue come out from Revell of Germany. And there are 3 Fujimi kits we're going to talk about real quick as well, because they came out actually 2 weeks ago. They sort of snuck in under the radar. Nobody mentioned them. The vendors that I check every day for, release information did not mention these kits coming out. I just happened to go to Fujimi's website to look for future release dates of the other kits that's coming out. The Hino Super Dolphin that's coming out at the end of this month, as well as the December stuff. And I noticed that the date that the stuff was supposed to be released on was several days ago, and went and checked, and sure enough, the stuff was in stock, released in mid-November, and was never mentioned in the run list for the new kits that came in that week. So I can see why it's sort of non-news of what they are, but we cover everything. So we'll go to Revell of Germany first, because that is the new quote-unquote kit this week, and that is the Bentley 4.5 liter blower. Or the Bentley blower, which should be like 4.5 liter afterwards. I have no idea why Revell of Germany is using a comma in place of a decimal or a period, depending on how you want to look at it. This is the old Heller tooling. Revell of Germany does not have their own Bentley blower tooling. It's from like the 70s, I want to say. Revell's borrowed this tooling. This is at least the third time. I've found 2 other ancient box arts of this kit. I believe the last time Revell released it was like about 15 years ago or so. I'd have never owned one of these kits myself, but I know some people who have built them, and I've talked to those people, and they seem to all sort of agree that this is much like Heller's other Big C classics, like the DeHale and the Mercedes and stuff like that. That it builds pretty good for the era that it's from. It fits together more than it doesn't. And that with the proper amount of TLC and just a competent builder and taking your time and paying attention and not trying to throw this together in 24 hours, that you can get a pretty nice model out of this just straight out of the box without adding too many adding the details to it. Adding any photo etch or hand wired wheels or whatever. And so kind of neat to have back out. Heller hasn't reissued it recently either. It's just sort of one of those tooling vault kits. And so that brings us to these old Fujimi. Well, there are old Fujimi kits to begin with, but they're also old releases, it turns out. These are a pair of these E30 Gen 3 Series BMWs. This one, a 325i. Very 1980s, equipment here, as far as, the way it's front air dam and rear spoiler and stuff like that. Both these 3 series, we'll talk about the next one, right after this, are curbsides, and they're motorized curbsides. They're not as motorized as some curbsides are, but the chassis has effectively no detail to it whatsoever. The interior is probably the best part, and then the body itself is dubiously misproportioned. This is a well-known kit within the community, the building community, in the sense of being misproportioned. There is somebody, I'm not sure who right now, might be Scale Productions, that's working on a resin trans kit with a right corrected body. But this is one of those kits that either Fujimi or somebody else should retool correctly. It's not exactly as iconic a car as, say, like the new series BMW, the 2002-2000 CSI, that sort of saved BMW from almost insolvency. But there's a motorsports history to these. And, Fujimi did a bunch of these kits. There's this kit, there's the 323i Alpina that we're going to talk about. There's like a DTM-inspired BMW 3 Series. There's an M3 version of this kit. There's several racing versions of this kit. And they all have the same basic, issues with body proportion, chassis being generic. The chassis of this kit is also the same chassis that's shared with, like, the BMW, or not the BMW, but the Mercedes. There's a DTM-inspired Mercedes sedan as well, and it has the exact same chassis. So, one size fits all, regardless to content. Buddy of mine, Mike, did one of these here just recently this summer. Did a lot of things to it, replaced some of the details from other kits, and did his own thing to make it less objectionable to look at. A lot of the work he did to it didn't necessarily correct the proportional problems, but they drew your eye away from them and to other things that he had done, scratch building and custom wheels and all that sort of stuff. So, it made a very nice model when it was all said and done with. Very cool build. And you almost wouldn't know that he started it from this kit, because this kit is so bad. The bad twin to this kit is this 323i Alpina. Unless you're building a collection of Alpinas, which is possible because they've Alpina pretty much every BMW that's ever been produced from anybody. Revell of Germany has an Alpina version of the Z8, an Alpina version of the 850. I believe there's an Alpina version of the 750. There is an Alpina version of their 3 Series. There's this Alpina. There's also an Alpina, I believe, of the Fujimi 6 series, the Enthusiast kit. If there's not, I think there's decals to make one. And there's also an Alpina version of the 5 series curbside that Fujimi did. So, you can Alpina all the things, basically. This kit is essentially the same, other than the Alpina specific details, and obviously the decals to make it. These cars are always dark blue for some reason. I don't know if they're available in a different color. I think if you buy an Alpina, you get a blue car. But other than so a couple of random small details here and there, and the decals, this are identical kits, and they share the same, like I said, crappy chassis and lack of detail and misproportioned bodies. Last but not least, well, maybe it is the least and the last, is this Gen 1 VW Golf GTI. This is a really old curbside. If you even can't tell by the box art, you need to stop, go back, get your glasses, come back, and rewatch the last 10 seconds, because this is the original box art, I think, of this kit from the 1970s, 1980s. I'm not sure if they made this kit when the car came out originally, like in the late 70s, or if this was an 80s kit, but it is old, and it is motorized, and it is all still there. You have a very basic, very not detailed chassis plate. The rear axle is still tooth geared to fit in with the electric motor. The electric motor, I want to call it a sling, but that's not what the word I'm looking for. Carriage was the word I'm looking for, as well as the battery box are still in this kit. The rear hatch, interestingly enough, does open, because that's how you get the batteries in and out. Because it's sitting on a battery box, the interior, much like those IMA Beetles we talked about a few videos ago, is, midget deep. No offense to anyone who may be, an actual dwarf or a midget, but you have to be like 1.5 feet tall in real life to fit in the interior. Or you're a godlike person and you're creating an interior. It's rising up out of molten plastic. Ain't that cool? Not really. Fujimi released this kit specifically to preempt a little Japanese sales of the pending Revell of Germany GTI and Cabriolet kits. One thing to think about is that Revell of Germany kits in Japan end up costing like $50. So this in Japan will end up, I think this is being sold for like 1,300 yen, which is like $9 US right now with the exchange rate. And if you run to buy the cheapest Golf you could find, cheapest Golf GTI you could find, and I don't know, shove a Camaro motor into it and gut it and scratch build a chassis and an interior and stuff, this is the kit for you, because it's $9. Who cares? But if you want a full detail Golf GTI, well, then you're going to wait till next month when the Revell of Germany kit comes out, because that's going to be full detail with an actual engine and stuff like that. I think we may have mentioned it in the past that the Golf GTI and the Cabriolet have different interiors, different engine pieces. They're two more or less separate kits based on the same tooling as the cars were. I mean, the GTI and the Cabriolet are essentially both just Volkswagen Golfs, but there's a world of difference engine-wise and interior-wise, and obviously the Cabriolet doesn't have a roof and things like that. But Fujimi tends to sell mostly in Japan or the rest of Asia. They don't sell that much here in the United States. If you go to your average well-stocked hobby shop, and I'm not talking about like the guy down the corner who sells the Revell kits and round 2 stuff, but actually stocks import kits, you look at their stock of Fujimi stuff, it tends to be mostly exotic cars. If I go right now to the one up by my job, that is like the best stocked hobby shop around that I've found anyway of the 6. He's got a Prius because it's a Prius. The Mini Cooper John Cooper Works version, the new Coopers that BMW's made, and then he has like a Murcielago and a Gallardo, and then he has probably 12.5 Ferrari kits. And that's pretty much it. I think he might have some race cars. I'd have to go actually look. But, he doesn't carry all the JDM Japanese stuff. You're not going to go in there and buy an initial D Toyota 86 Truno off him. You're not going to buy those 3 Toyota GX71 triplet kits that came out last month. They're just that stuff doesn't, that isn't directly imported here to the United States in the first place. It may not be the fact that your guy just hates Fujimi. It's just the fact that they can't get them here because you can only buy them through these individual sale exporter basically. And that's it. As far as the kit releases go, there's no new kit release information. But of course, if you're new to the channel, like I said, we have 4 new subscribers, so welcome. Our videos tend to be very long and heavy in the beginning of the month because the first video of the month, which will be next Wednesday, will include all the stuff that comes out at the very end of the month in Japan. There'll be a rush in the next 2 days because, like I said, we moved the day up 1 day, plus Monday was a national holiday in Japan. It was Labor Thanksgiving Day, which is not Thanksgiving to the Labor Party of the United Kingdom, but rather Thanksgiving to having a job and working hard and loyalty to your employer and your employees and stuff like that. Japanese culture is sometimes not the easiest thing to understand. This used to be the Fall Harvest Festival, but then it was changed to this Thanksgiving Day labor thing. Part of the Happy Monday system. We have a federal Monday system here in the United States, obviously, where most of our national holidays, with the exception of Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, 4th of July, and Veterans Day being attached to a Monday. And apparently I have some weather alerts coming in. If you couldn't hear the twing-ting, then I'm talking to myself about nothing. But if you heard my phone go off, it's snowing outside. We're being warned about snow. But back to what I was saying, heck, I don't even remember what I was saying. Now the stupid phone. So, since I don't remember what I was talking about, we'll go to what I was thinking, and that's the expansion of this channel. When it was originally designed, when I originally came up with this idea probably 4 or 5 years ago, when I was still an over-the-road truck driver and not hauling the mail for the Postal Service, it was going to be basic building skills and kit reviews. I, probably have a couple, 3 videos stuck someplace. I should upload them because they're going to be awful compared to, the more polished coughing videos I put out in the last month. But, I have some oddball kits. There's this Tamiya/Ebro 2CV Forgane. There was a Ebro and Heller went together on a Renault 4 Forgane. There's a Renault 4L. I have, let's see, I got a Citroen 2CV Charleston, Revell Germany kit, a mini Trabant Universal, Subaru Sandbars. I'm just sort of looking at this is my import area over here. But I know there's there's a lot of interest about these Forganes for some reason, and nobody seems to want to pull the trigger to buy one. Ebro's a new company and blah, blah, blah. The guy who runs Ebro is one of the former head kit designers at Tamiya, so you're getting quality. Don't worry about it. Just buy the stupid thing, if you're into it. But, like I said, I have a bunch of interesting things I think people will be interested in seeing the insides of. I don't necessarily know that anyone wants to hear my opinion of the hobby, doing an op-ed on stuff. Or anybody wants to see me, do tutorials of stuff. But I enjoy building when I get the chance, and the motivation meet at the same time, which is a little harder than it should be sometimes. But, I have the things that work for me, and I will share them with people. Because I spent many years of my career teaching people how to drive. And, it's something I enjoy doing teaching-wise. Not so much watching people who don't know how to drive me around trying to kill me, but the actual teaching part. And, share information. That's basically what this whole video, channel is about, is sharing information. You could get all this stuff yourself if you were diligent about it and you knew where to look. But it's much easier for you to come here, listen to me prattle on about it for a half an hour, and then go away well-informed. So, like I said, we'll be expanding the channel. I don't know when. I don't know how necessarily. Won't be, I don't have 5 videos banked up of stuff that I was angry about or interested in that I'm going to just release over the course of the week or anything like that. But, like I said, I've watched a bunch of people's videos. I have some responses to some stuff that people were asking about, some people that are talking about. There's a recent, a major kerfuffle about constructive criticism that involved, Chip basically almost issuing a groveling apology about stirring a raft of crap up. And, I guess one thing I'll say there is Chip, the guy who's known as Chevy Cheeseburger, that's his handle on YouTube. I didn't see the video itself. I just saw the aftermath, all the people who responded to it. And I wanted to go watch the video so I could issue my response to it, because constructive criticism is one of those things that I'm interested in. I try to give out, and I am appalled by the reaction of some people over it. And I went to go watch the video so I could have a coherent statement, and it wasn't there. It had been pulled down, and he had issued a 2 minute and 30 somewhat second apology video that he had caused all these problems within the YouTube modeling community, and he was sorry for stirring things up. And who the fuck are you people to make a grown man grovel like that? First of all, I mean, I appreciate the somewhat the ironic part of pulling a video about criticism down after you were criticized, but hey, it's his channel and his prerogative. But really, you attack this guy to the point of making him feel bad enough to pull down his opinion? What? That ain't cool. So, like I said, we may make more enemies than friends with actually, talking about stuff that I'm interested in. And if so, so be it. There's nobody forced you to subscribe to the channel. Nobody will force you to watch these videos. But I think, I guess everybody thinks their opinion is more important than everybody else's, and I think mine's more important, but it's, I feel that it's, interesting, because it's my opinion, so of course it's interesting. But, guys, when you all wake up out of your turkey coma, we will be back next week. See you guys on the other side.